today we're actually going to look at video content. So I've done a whole webinar where I've looked at case studies from lots of different types of businesses so that anybody who joins or anyone who watches this back can get, I guess, some sort of ideas on how they can best use video content and also how they could maybe make it work for their businesses. So we are going to get moving. So today we're going to look at encouraging user-generated content, aka content that is made by, say, your customers, how to build a signature style on videos. So we're going to look at, like how you could develop a particular style that people would get used to and used to seeing and just know automatically that it's you. We're going to look at behind the scenes footage, how best to use it and why. The making of a product or service can be everything, and looking at how you can use video content for that. Being authentic and real. And then, as usual, we're going to look at the national campaigns and events and things like that, and what is coming up over the next few months. Now, one of the best ways that you can get better at social is by prioritizing your channels, by learning from your competitors. And so how, I guess, that you can tell if, say, your video content's working better than, say, your static posts, or maybe your polls, or maybe your GIFs and things like that, is by going to your dashboard on Maybe. So on here, you can obviously see at the top of it, you've got, your content, your comments, your mentions, that kind of thing. But really the important bit is this. Every week you'll see your best post, and then you can compare that with anybody else here on the right. So literally you can listen to any other business, pop them in there, and then what you would start to see generally, in my experience, is a bit of a trend or a theme. So you'll start to see things like, if you regularly put out a top tip, for example, that might regularly become your best post, or it might be a GIF, or it might be a meme, it might be something funny, it might be something emotive, but you'll start to see a bit of a pattern, and then you'll start to see a bit of a pattern with your direct competitors. And there's no better way really of learning from that, because you know what works for you, you know what works for them, and then you can tweak accordingly. So we've got 79.1% of consumers in the UK spend over an hour on social media per day, and then only 19% of businesses have active social media accounts, which is exactly why we're doing this. We're trying to make sure that we connect you with where your people are. Your people are on social media. We want to help you guys find the right channels, do the right content, and connect with them so that you can drive whatever your business objectives are forward. So we help over 25,000 businesses get more out of social media, and we look at various things. So we've got a way to compare your social media performance with any other business, which is what I just showed you. You have all the social media tools and insights you need to use social media effectively. So you can schedule in your content. You've got a content calendar on there. You have mentions. You can comment back to people. You can see who's got influence in your conversation. So many things. And then you can access expert resources. So you've got loads of people like myself in the background that are sitting trawling through different types of content, helping you guys get as strong as you can at social. And then we do loads of amazing training sessions as well. So I'm going to get started, but just a reminder, if you've got any questions, just pop it into the Q&A, and I will answer as I go as best I can. If there's anything that maybe you forget to ask, feel free to, when you go into Maybe platform, just click on the little blue button, ask it in there, and either a blog will come up about it, because we've done quite a lot of training and blogs on it, or one of us will get back to you on it. So this is called ELF, so ELF Cosmetics, if you like. This is eye, lip, and face. So I want to talk about this type of video content. I'll show you it first, then we'll chat about it. So they're obviously a sort of makeup brand, and I'll chat to you a little bit about what they have developed once this loads. Sorry, it sometimes takes a wee minute on Zoom, guys. Bear with. Here we are. Right, so this is all the things. all the things. Okay, so when we have a look at this, so as I've just said, they are a cosmetic brand. This is their UK based Instagram, and you would generally speaking assume that they'd be trying to target, you know, like a generally female audience with their brand. However, they are very much an inclusive brand. What they want to do is it's anyone who wants to express themselves through makeup. That is what that's who they focus on. So what they did, I'm going to pause this for a second. What they did was they created a post asking people to express themselves. So how would you use the ELF or the ELF products, if you like, to express yourself? So basically, they were kind of looking for user-generated content. They were looking for people to use their products and tag them in videos, tag them in reels, tag them in stories on what it means to them. So, you know, like it's for things from easy, lush, flawless to extraordinary, luminous, and fun. And so it means makeup, basically, you know, is a different thing to different people. So what they wanted to do was show how their products could be represented on everyone. So you've got male, female, trans, you've got different skin tones, so many different types of people. And that's the point. They want to show that makeup is inclusive. It should be for anybody. And there's no better way of doing that than getting actual end users, people who already use the product, to come on and talk about how blimmin' amazing it is. So again, looking back at this, you've got various people showing off how much they love the products and talking about what it means to them. So here you've got Embrace, Loud and Freedom. So they're using it to express themselves. Extra, Luminous and Fierce. That makes her, you know, like a lot more, I guess, you know, fierce and excited. And you'll see just that last little clip there, that was actually the original post. And you could see as it went through, there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments from people, tagging people in, asking people to, oh, you know, you should do this, or sending in their video. And so that is what this is all about. And the campaign itself, Express Your ELF, is obviously express yourself. And I think for me, this is all about encouraging people to comment, encouraging people to tag, and encouraging people to basically talk about how they would use a product to express themselves. Now, there is no reason that any other business couldn't do something like this. This is about celebrating who a customer is. So now this might be a mum's, this might be dad's, this might be the older generation, this might be a more male dominated brand that you guys are looking after. It could be something to do with it could be like, I suppose, a particular issue. So it could be maybe, I don't know, people with acne, for example, who are embracing the fact that their skin is a little bit different and they are not going to cover it up anymore, and they're going to embrace it, and your product supports that. For example, it could be people with a disability, and actually you're bringing everybody all together to celebrate the fact that they're different, to celebrate the fact that they have a different ability to other people. So if you see what I mean, there'll be different businesses that I guess, you know, could use something like this very, very easily. And it is so, so simple. They're just saying, do us a favor, tag us in. What does our business mean to you? And tag us in a little video. So any want to be influencer, anyone who's got like a decent social media account, you will attract them if you do something similar to this. So this is about, basically all they would have done is tag them in. And how to find your tags whilst we're in here, just in case. How to find your tags is, so if you've done something like this and people haven't actually commented directly, for example, underneath your post, then how you would find your tags is here. So you're going to tagged. Sorry, this is logging me out, guys. There we go. There we go. So yeah, you would go into tagged here, and then that would find all of your tagged content. So anything basically like this, anything like this, anything like this. This is all user-generated content, and there's no better way of promoting your product than from people. So this could be, I think a couple of weeks ago, guys, we showed them how, I think it was Yorkshire Tea. I'm sure it was Yorkshire Tea. And they went out and they asked people questions. So it was things like, how long is too long to dunk a biscuit in some tea? It was, what's your favorite biscuit to Dunkin' tea? And then they did a little video and then they put all the little snippets together. So why not test this out? Why not come up with a little campaign yourself and thinking about, who your customers are, and then have a think about what would actually, what would identify, what, thing would bind everybody together. And, or it might not even be anything to do with your product. It might be something to do with people's lifestyle. It might be something to do with what's going on right now. It might be that you live in, I don't know, you live in Lincoln and you want to know what people's, what the first two things that pop into people's head when they think about Lincoln. And so your business might be a baker, it doesn't matter. The idea is that, you're getting people to generate and all talk about a subject, getting video content, and Instagram loves it. Now back to the webinar, I just kind of wanted to show you guys this. So interestingly, there is no video content on the UK Facebook page at all, but they do have video content on their US pages. So that goes back to me sort of explaining earlier on that when it comes to understanding your channels and understanding your content that actually works, then one of the best ways of doing that is actually to look at things like look at your dashboard, because on your dashboard, you'll start to see if it's Facebook coming up all the time, say for video content, and then you look at your Instagram stats and you're not really getting it, then there you go. So this is the type of thing that they would be putting on there, but they just don't seem to do it as much on their UK based stuff as opposed to their US stuff, and that's because they just know what works. They understand what works on certain channels, and therefore for them they see no reason to be doing it. So interestingly, the main videos that they do tend to do aren't really the user generated content. It's things like this. So it is we've got the new shiny Halo Glow highlight ones. It's available to shop here or on the app or in stores, and then they've explained what it is. And so it's for new product launches, and that's like, $9. So the videos again differ from Instagram to their US Facebook page, because the US Facebook page is more things like we've got potential deals, we've got new products. It's to drive people into a store. Whereas the rest of the sort of the UK version doesn't so much have that. And then on the UK Instagram, it's more user generated content because we have a bigger influencer market. So do you see what I mean? It is sometimes about thinking about the purpose of your video, and actually, does it have to go across all channels, or actually do you put it across all channels and then start to monitor what's working and what's not? So I just wanted to share that. I thought that was quite interesting. Right, one that I think most people would know is the good old Body Coach. So this, honestly, I might be showing you this and you've got nothing to do with personal training or anything like that. It doesn't matter. This isn't about personal training. This is about video style. Now, Joe Wicks became an internet sensation pretty much overnight, really, because his videos became known for being a certain way. He got known for that kind of, chuck it, it was all recipes at the time. So it was, holding his phone over the pan, chucking it all in, there's my end result. It wasn't about it being sexy. It wasn't about, having that kind of Nigella Lawson effect. It wasn't about, I guess, it wasn't about being, like having like this beautiful kind of, again, more of the M&S effect, if you like, at the end. It was actually about, here's how to be healthy, boom, 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 done. And he just got really well known for being a bit sort of like slapstick almost. Now here he's upgraded it a little bit, but it's still him and it's still personal and it's still just him creating content that he thinks people will like. So let's have a wee look. Right. So for anyone who doesn't recognize the body coach, that is what he became well known for. And it was through social media, it was through Instagram. He developed a particular style and he just flung it all together. Boom, 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 boom. Again, you know, with Joe Wicks, there's not any particular airs and graces, is there? He just is who he is. And that's how he built his body coach empire, how he became well known for all these really easy recipes, things, you know, easy to follow, the workouts, all that kind of thing. Again, what kind of just developed from there. But ultimately, you know, he was a PT that was working out in fields, dragging along a little wagon, started his Instagram. And I mean, look at him now. So for me, when you're thinking about style of video content, you can very easily become well known for a thing, and people can start to then, as you're going through, you're scrolling through, you know, Instagram, they might, you having a style might make people much more interested in clicking on you than not having a style. So for example, it could be a hairdresser, and you tend to start with, I don't know, the close up of the hair and then pulling back. It could be, you could be a butcher and you start off with the end result. So I don't know, you've cooked the Sunday roast and then you go backwards. It's that kind of thing is my, you know, my 2 pence worth on it. But it's understanding that once you develop a signature style, you start to get good engagement on it, people will come back and people will start to recognize it. So just because you're Joe Wicks doesn't mean that you can't do anything. Like, you're not Joe Wicks, sorry, just it doesn't mean that you can't do anything like this. The idea is about, he's got a style, but equally he's adding value. He's not selling, I mean, he's selling recipes, let's face it, but he's not selling the banana and chocolate pancakes. He's giving value by explaining how, you know, how to do it. He's showing a signature style, and then he's saying, can people let me know, you know, what you think? And people are absolutely loving it. People are getting involved in it. It's at 33,000 likes. Not expecting that for, you know, a normal person's Instagram account, but, you know, you can develop that and start to kind of get into a bit of a theme where, I don't know, every Tuesday you do it. And we are going to look at how a national brand has managed to make a national brand feel personal. I really, really liked this, so I'm going to show you. So I love this. It is simple and it is sent from New Look to show that there are real, genuine people behind a big brand. That is what this is. This is an awareness exercise. This is an engagement exercise. What they want is for people to have to sort of feel a certain feeling around, you know, when they think about New Look, that actually it's not some faceless big brand. And I've actually been in their head offices. Everyone there is lovely. And it's actually, you know, like it's got real people behind the business. Okay. So giving our colleagues a midweek boost, one post-it note at a time, hashtag New Look, hashtag that New Look feeling. It is so lovely. It is showing that they care about their team. It is simple. It is something that anybody could do. Could you do this for your customers? Could every single customer get a little post-it note or a little note with their receipt that just is a little affirmation or a pick-me-up, or, you know, about sharing some positivity, and shared a little bit of that on social media to show it? Could you reply back to every single person on your social media with a little affirmation, with a little something, just to say, actually, you know, we're thinking of you, you know, have a great day. Little things mean a lot to a lot of people. This is all about this. So this is obviously the boss. That's their boss. Love your outfit today. Look how happy she is. Thanks for always being helpful. So that, again, you know, it's down in the deliveries and things like that. This lady's going to have a baby. So again, that shows that they know her. She got a haircut. They know she got a haircut. That's lovely. That's for the potential person sitting down, a team player. I think at one point they welcome a new member to the team. There you go, welcome to the dream team. So that's somebody that's brand new that's got that little thing. Everybody loves a little pick me up. Everyone loves, you know, like a little text from someone that says, I don't know, you know, you're doing great today. I think little things like that mean a lot to people. So when you're thinking about showing, I guess, you know, the personality behind your business, any little things that you do to boost morale, to support your team, or even just little things that you do for yourself, or indeed little things that you do for customers, whether it's adding in something nice to the envelopes, I think we looked at last week, or it might be, yeah, as I said, like giving little affirmation cards or little things out. Those little things go a long way. So make sure you actually show it on social media and you talk about it. To be fair, anybody could steal that idea. It's a great idea. And you could always, like, you know, thank New Look for the idea kind of thing, but you know, they've not trademarked that. So you could do anything with that, but it's lovely. It's really, really nice. And it got them more engagement than quite a lot of their other posts. This is Wax and Wonder Candle Company, and this is a how-to, so how to make your product. So again, we're looking at different videos and reasons for using video and how you can use them. So this is them developing a reel on and how to they make their product. Right. I really, really like this. I'll put it on mute and then you can just kind of watch in the background. I really like this. So this is them putting the finishing touches to their candle range. And it's got little crystals in it. It's beautiful. It's showing that actually they make things themselves. It's not done in some, like, you know, sort of unknown factory, that actually it's a small business, it's an independent business, and everything is done by hand. Now, people buy from independent businesses more so after COVID than any other time. People want to support the small business, the indie business. So by showing this and doing a little reel, showing them adding the finishing touches to their candles, and actually, I mean, they look beautiful, don't they? And showing, you know, how they make it, what the process is. It really shows that personal touch, and it reiterates that even though, I mean, like, the brand looks like a really big, expensive brand to me. You know, like, the branding is on point. The detail is, I mean, it's stunning. It's absolutely gorgeous. But it's reminding us that actually, no, this person is a small business and they finish everything by hand. So it would make me want to buy it over, say, a big, huge brand. And a way to make sure that that kind of video is seen is through these hashtags. So obviously they've used the industry ones. So they've used, you know, their candles, candle community, candle addiction, that kind of thing. Anybody who's interested in crystals, so they've done a lot of the crystals here. But then they've got the small business owner, small women owned business UK, candle business, anything like that. You know, it's ensuring that their reel is going to be seen by people who are much more likely to buy it. So make sure that you're thinking about those hashtags and the content when you're doing your reel. But ultimately, it can be as simple as that. It is just fixing your phone, putting it to and showing the last little bit, or you could do a time lapse. You could also do a before and after, or you could do a face to camera talking physically about, you know, how you've developed said product or said service. I told you guys we've got loads of good stuff to get through today. So this, this is a really interesting one. Okay, so this is Calm Over Chaos. So this is a really different take on a behind the scenes of an office. I'm not going to say too much about it. I'm going to show you it and then we'll see what you think. Now that, to me, is gold. It's gold because this is small business owner. This is her showing. So this is like the kind of stuff that she makes. She makes like these gorgeous books. She does everything by hand. She writes some gorgeous little, as I said, like little affirmations and things like that, like all these extra little things that she pops into the postage when she sends it out. But ultimately, at the end of the day, she is being real. She's being authentic. She is being honest. And anybody who, you know, like there will be a lot of people who are, say, key holders in a business, but anybody who's running their business and has to physically look at their bank balance and see all that money go out and all the money come in can 100% empathize with this. Anybody who basically, you know, is struggling, anybody who is penny, you know, like counting the pennies, things like that, just general people at the moment, because most of us are, would understand that. That is her being honest. That is her showing that actually, when you support a small business in the UK, this is the amount of stuff that goes into making these products for you. I want to show you so that you can understand it, you can empathize with me, and you're much more likely to keep supporting me as an independent business over some giant corporation. That is love, sweat, blood, money, tears that go into creating her products. So when we talk about how people buy from people, that to me, now you might have a different opinion, but that to me would 100% make me want to support her in her business venture, because that is coming from the heart. That is coming from somebody who is really trying to make it work as a small independent business owner. And I would rather support her over, say, someone else. So, and you can see everyone is telling everyone to start their own business, but people have no idea how much stress it costs. Exactly. So it is a conversation starter with other businesses. So interesting and eye-opening. I found you on Facebook Reels. I just want to say that you're doing a great thing. Again, found them on Facebook Reels, ended up on Instagram. To be fair, I felt sick hearing this too, and it's not even my money, only makes you feel even more sick the bigger you grow. Trust me. Thank you for this. I love your transparency. This is why some people struggle. How and then yeah, like, and then they've tagged different people in, but you get my point. Okay, this is her being raw, being real, being authentic. Now in your business there will be various challenges, whether it is staffing, whether it is people phoning in sick. It could be that you have stock issues because you can't get something from abroad. You know, a couple of weeks ago we couldn't buy peppers and tomatoes. It could be that you are trying to branch out and actually you can't make the costs work in line with keeping your costs low. The more you talk about these kind of things, especially if you're an independent business owner, the more people will identify with you, the more people engage with you. You might engage as well with the rest of the business community, but it is just being raw and being real. So videos that show the real people. As you can see, she's kind of, you know, chilled out in her jumper. You know, she's not all dressed up or anything like that. It's not all Instagram-y. It is real. So sometimes it is about genuinely showing the real people and the real issues behind running your business that will actually help you get more business. This one is really lovely. So this is Beth Bakes Cakes. And what I like is it comes across like a how-to video, but actually it's telling people how to do what she does. So it's not about selling, it's about adding value. So let's have a little look once it pops up. So that is really, really nice. Basically, Beth Bakes Cakes. She wants you to buy her cakes. That's what her Instagram is all about. She uses it to promote her cakes. Now, what I really like is that instead of it actually being about selling the cakes at this point, this is about selling her. This is about anybody who's been, you know, let's face it, if people are cake bakers, they're going to be looking at her content to see, you know, what she's doing. People are going to be looking for inspiration. People are going to be looking for stuff they can do at home. And not everyone can afford to go out and buy cakes. Not everybody can afford to do it. Some people just want to do it themselves. So this is about adding value. She's showing the nozzle. She's saying what one it is. I would have maybe even tagged in a couple of retailers, you know, just as a little extra boost, but you know, that's fine. And then she's showing how it works. She's showing the different ways that you could use that nozzle to do something like, you know, any of these bits and bobs yourself. Now, obviously, you still have to make the cake and all the other things, but it's about adding value, sharing a top tip and showing you how you can do things at home. Now, there's been quite a lot of businesses that I remember during lockdown who did this. They were trying to promote their click and collect. And so they were doing things like, so if they were a baker, they were doing things like showing how they made the bread from scratch. So I might look at that and think, oh, that's amazing. And they've even written down the recipe. Is it going to make me go and make that bread from scratch? Or am I going to be more inclined to go and get it from them because they've added value and they've shown me all of the skill that's gone into it? It's probably going to be that. Now, unless you're a bread maker, for example, and you just love baking, you've got loads of time in your hands, that's fine. But that's the idea behind it, is that people aren't necessarily going to go out and just start doing all of this stuff. Some people will. But it's not. It's about adding value, showing skill, showing that she really knows her stuff, and showing, I guess, the craftsmanship that goes into it. And then by saying, actually, this is basically how you do it at home, it is about building up trust with your target audience. So thinking about the couple of months ahead that we've got, we have our social media content calendar. Now, this is every week we go into this. We've got national campaigns. So we've recently had, I think it's National Love Your Pet Day. We've had World Book Day. We've obviously had Easter. Lots of different big national campaigns, events, you know, life events, that kind of stuff going on. Obviously, we've got coronation coming up. That's a kind of, well, not quite a one-off, but, you know, pretty much a one-off in most people's lifetimes. And there's national hashtags that are campaign hashtags. There's even content on here. And we want to give you guys some inspiration for how you might be able to use some of the great content over the next few months. So I think we've talked a lot about May and we're almost in May. So let's look at June. Now here you see across all the tabs. Now, if you don't already have this, let me know. Let me know in the comments and things, and I will make sure this is sent out to you. But in June, we have so many amazing national campaigns to choose from. So I am going to start with Volunteers Week. So Volunteers Week is raise a glass. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. That's not about milk. Volunteers Week is celebrated between the 1st and 7th of June. It's a week within the UK which celebrates volunteers and thanks them for the contribution that they make. So there's your hashtag. There's the website. There's what it's about. And then here's some content that explains it and you can even use it now. If you have any kind of volunteering service as part of what you do, if you support a charity in any way, if any of your team members do, this is the week to start talking about it. Or indeed, if you are a charity, this is the week to start really pushing, showcasing your volunteers, giving case studies, giving testimonials, talking about how amazing your volunteers are and how, I don't know how many pounds a week they generate for the charity, doing a big volunteer drive. It might be that you are a team in a local bar and you want to do some volunteer work and you do it as a team building exercise. So this is the week to use it. So again, this is about forward planning, thinking about what can we do in terms of events, campaigns, content, and then how can we do it without that? What else do we have? Oh yes, of course, Pride Month, huge, absolutely huge. Again, assuming that you are an inclusive business, which I would assume you are, then Pride Month's an amazing one to look at. So it is the LGBT Pride celebration every year, it says here, during the month of June. The community celebrates in a number of different ways. So it's lots of different events. Obviously, there's huge Pride events that take place all across the UK. They're absolutely massive. There's festivals, there's carnivals, there's nights out, days out, loads of different things that happen. And there might be something running in your local area that, again, you want to support, you want to jump on the back of. You might want to do your own campaign yourself. or you might want to celebrate yourself or your team members as part of Pride Month. But this is a really good time to think about, again, how you would do that on social media, whether that is through the hashtag, through reels, through campaigns, through celebrating. There's been some amazing LGBTQ plus bookshops that I found. There's one up in Glasgow, I remember, and I've showcased it on here before if you want to go back and have a look at it, where you might be able to get some books and authors and things that you can show. You might do a book club. Loads of things that you can do with that. National Cheese Day. Who wouldn't want National Cheese Day? I think that's more so over in the US as well, actually. Hug Your Cat Day. World Environment Day, absolutely huge. Anything to do with green, being green, being more environmentally friendly, that you've got some recycling project that you, for every product that people buy from you, you plant a tree maybe, or you might be a fully, energy efficient business, who knows? That is a good time to talk about it. So you see what I mean? This is about looking ahead and thinking about A, what you already do that you could, use some of the hashtags and sort of pin your content on the back of. B, it's about then thinking, well, if you don't do any of these things, could you do them in the future? So remember, we want to help you guys use this as much as possible. You might have seen some really exciting things coming up on maybe recently to do with AI. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but one of the things you guys talk to me about on a regular basis is the fact that you find you really, really struggle sometimes to come up with what the actual content is. We bring you the ideas, but how do you actually structure it? We have got amazing tools and we're developing it. So just watch this space on all things AI to help you guys actually really develop that content. But we've got loads of other great tools. We've got our scheduling, we do advertising, we help you guys build up your ads on there. We help you guys build up your audiences. We've got great reporting. And then obviously we've got our daily drop-in sessions. So we've got how to use maybe social media basics. You've got Wednesdays with me, ads for beginners, advanced ads, and then you've got all the on-demand training. So it's all the training that we sit and develop, and I'm actually recording a whole load for you guys today, and we pop it onto the site, and then you guys can check out, and you basically just type it into the search and see what comes up. So to sum up for me this week, so get behind a campaign or start your own to encourage user-generated content. So that is back to the cosmetics that we talked about in the beginning, thinking about what is the niche, what is the market, what is the thing that you can hang their hat on and bring lots of people together to talk about a specific thing. Understand what works on one channel might not work for another. Again, going back to what works for their USA Facebook page doesn't work for their UK one, doesn't work for their Instagram. So eventually, once you get used to posting regularly and getting good engagement on your content, you will start to develop and hone your skills when it comes to understanding what works and what doesn't across your channels. Behind the scenes footage on things like stories and reels can really help you connect. So it is that kind of behind the scenes on what's going on in your business. It is thinking about new look, the little things, the little touches that you might do. Anything like that is a real bonus. Having a theme or signature style to your video content can make all the difference. So think about it might be that you always try on the clothes and show it and people just get used to seeing it. It might be more of the kind of body coach effect that it's recipes and just chucking things into a pan, or it might be that you do it in a much more kind of streamlined way. It might be how you approach your content. However, whatever it might be, there are various ways of doing it. Being real on video and showing things you wouldn't normally see within a business can drive engagement. So that is going back to the lady who basically showed how expensive one day in the life of a business owner is. Like, that is about honesty, truth, authenticity, connection. And then just make sure that you actually sign up and get cracking with us. We want to help you, and this is what we do week in and week out. We want you guys to learn, we want you guys to grow, we want you guys to connect. So we do all this to support your business at the end of the day.